Hey there, and welcome to the Music Career Study Group. My name is Kevin, and that over there is Chris. This is our weekly gathering of the artist community where we discuss ideas, exchange notes, just like a study group. We're going to be diving into 10 ideas to drive music revenue this holiday season. And it is that season. Lots going on, lots of opportunities for artists to make money from their music. And Chris, as somebody who has released multiple Christmas albums, by the way, we're not just talking about Christmas albums or holiday music. We're talking about a season where people tend to open up the wallet a little bit more and be in that mood. Hey, it's already open. I've already spent it all. What's $5 more? Take it all. But as somebody who's released multiple Christmas albums, I started to notice that here in America, Thanksgiving moves around. Who knew?
It does.
Which creates, and if you're watching from outside the US, by the way, if you're joining us, weigh in on the comments. Let us know you're watching from, say hi, and join in on the conversation. But in America, people tend to break out the Christmas music or get in the holiday mode, the spending mode, around the week of Thanksgiving. And this year, it's as late as it can possibly be, which means it's a very compressed time frame. From today, it's 3 weeks to Christmas.
That is crazy.
That is crazy. Yeah. And so there's not a lot of time to take action, but there is still time to take action. Hello, Miles.
Hey, Miles
is in Iowa. Yeah, so there's still plenty of time to take action and make some things happen with your music. So we're going to be talking about that today. Again, you're watching the Music Careers Study Group. If you're just joining us, weigh in with where you're watching from. Say hi. Tell us, maybe something you're doing this holiday season to take advantage of all that's going on to move your music forward.
Hey, I have a question for you before we get too far into our topic. We had an amazing Black Friday discount going. Is it truly over?
The code is live till Friday. Our marketing said it ended. Wait, what's Thursday? I think I just said it was 3 weeks to Christmas. It's actually less than 3 weeks to Christmas because that was yesterday. It is still good until tomorrow. So if you are watching this and you did not take advantage of our Black Friday offer, it's 50% off Reverb Nation, which comes with unlimited access to all our marketing tools and unlimited music distribution. So you can start 2025 out right by releasing a lot of music.
And unlimited promotion through our opportunities program, which you can use for all your music. So you can kind of just keep promoting any tune that you think is relevant for an opportunity that shows up that week. It's unlimited pitching through that as well. But you got to use the coupon code BF2024 by tomorrow. So do it now.
Yes. Make it happen. Invest in your music career for 2025 and release music. Get it out there. It's fun. It's fulfilling. Why create stuff just to have it sit on your hard drive?
Right.
I mean,
I would presume it's why anyone who's watching is watching, because they are investing in their career in some way.
I don't know. Maybe they just like, hey, I just need to hear the voice of two dudes talking about music on right now.
That's what people are really missing out on.
Yeah. Again, if you're just joining us, say hi in the comments. Let us know where you're watching from. And if you've got anything that you're doing this holiday season out of the norm to promote your music, let us know. We did a live stream yesterday on Instagram and it got wild. I was surprised.
It was wild because there was a lot of people attending, which was great. And some of them started talking about conspiracy theories with the Freemasons and Lucifer, and how all of that was somehow part of an initiation ritual to get signed to a label.
Yeah.
It was wacky.
Yeah, wacky. We got to go back and do some more of that because, someone's saying that they were going to be offered a $2 million deal if they sold their soul to Satan. The funniest comment, though, was someone who got upset that they didn't take the deal.
It was a good combo.
Anyway, we've got some good stuff today. Chris, anything happening in the news that's worthy? I know Spotify Wrapped did their yearly propaganda drop. It seems like that thing's losing steam.
It is, I think, and I just see an increasing amount of artists actively rejecting the propaganda they want you to do of sharing all your stats and stuff. So it seems to be losing some steam there. I don't know. The only other thing I can really think of is like this. I keep hearing about Blue Sky. More and more music groups are, encouraging people to adopt it and forming these little communities. I still haven't done it because,
I'm not buying it.
yeah, I mean, what
They said the same thing about Threads. I haven't been on Threads once. Never signed up. Don't care.
Well, I'm on Threads, but I'm like, I'm on X and Threads. Why do I need one more thing? But that seems to be taking up a lot of imaginative space amongst
Yeah.
the music community. But
We'll see where that's at in a year.
yeah, is anyone out there using Blue Sky? What do you think? Is it cool? Tell us.
Yeah. Before the one thing I did want to say about the Spotify Wrapped thing is it did feel very streamlined this year, and I'm like, everybody, you realize that this is just the data you have access to any day of the year. They used to have more insights, I thought. Yeah, they did. They used to say, like, what other artists your fans were listening to. It really this year was only just data from your Spotify for Artist account. And I saw on X, somebody said that Spotify did massive layoffs and got rid of the team that did this. I don't know if that's true, that, anyone could post this kind of stuff, but, and they just had AI generate it. And that was that was earlier. I think I saw that last night. And then today I was looking at it. I'm like, yeah, that's probably totally the case, because all this is it's just pulling data out of my account and telling me information that I have access to already anyway. So, where the thing that I used to like was, it's like, your artist also, your top fans also listen to these artists. Those kind of insights were interesting. But again, you can use, if some of that stuff's not in Spotify for Artists, you can find it in Chartmetric and things like that.
Yeah. Hello to Malia in Pasadena. Miles is saying Threads hooked him in because they make all these little sneaky crossovers. When you post something in one place, they of course want you to auto post it to Threads, and then you've got one more.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram more than I care to admit, and I rarely ever see anything that was from Threads come down my feed. I don't know if it's just it knows I don't use Threads. I do see in the notifications, like, so and so just posted on Threads. I'm like, that's nice. I'm on Instagram. Why are you pushing me to another platform? Then you're just going to push me back to a different platform, and then I'm just a hamster. Okay, I'm just on a wheel.
Yeah.
And I want off the wheel. I don't want more things to be running.
Well, Miles has clearly not set up the family plan with different sort of user profiles, because if you're a parent, your Spotify Wrapped is just a reminder of all the music you don't want to listen to.
Absolutely. And see, that's why, like, I was sharing my bandmates and Small Town Poets, we were talking about what from the listener side, because they do it for listeners. And it said one of my top 5 artists was Taylor Swift. And I'm like, I'm sorry.
That's
not a chance. And I was reminded that for the first part of this year, my youngest daughter was still on my account.
Mm-hmm.
And
there you go.
Yeah, and she's not even a big Swiftie either, but she is a teenage girl, so I think it's a required.
It's ubiquitous.
Yeah. So anyway, we've got a great topic today, Chris. Again, if you're just joining us, say hi in the comments. Let us know where you're watching from. Yes, Malia. In fact, I was just jamming to some T Swift right before this. No, I was not. If you're joining us, let us know where you're watching from. Say hi. Feel free to engage. This is the Music Career Study Group. We want it to be interactive. And it's about us all exchanging ideas and notes and helping each other grow in our pursuit of music. We've got 10 ideas to drive music revenue this holiday season. Chris, this is a great list, I think.
Yeah. And so we came up with this list recently after realizing we had already covered on a previous blog article what you should do to promote Christmas music that you've recorded and distributed or are planning to distribute. And now that we're in this window of time where if that's you, you should have distributed it and started promoting it already. So that kind of ship may have sailed for you. And now a lot of musicians are like, well, I don't have holiday music. But this is still a time where people are listening to massive amounts of music. As you said, they're willing to spend money. So there's still a way to capture some of that revenue and energy that's happening in the last month of the year, even if it's not with recorded, distributed holiday music. So that's sort of the premise of this. And
Yeah.
do you want to kick it off, or do you have anything to add to
No,
that?
I think, well, the only thing I have to add, Chris, is I was thinking of a theme, and not really, it ties into everything we talk about, but I like a theme for people to think about for the holiday season, and I think beyond, is surprise and delight. Like the idea that some of this is based on you're just showing up in places that are unexpected, and people are like, wow, oh, this is awesome, I had no
Mhm.
idea. And the reaction people have, when you surprise them and delight them in ways they don't expect, can do wonders for your music career. And so with that, we can jump in, and we've got Charlie from the UK joining us. Hey, Charlie.
Charlie, who's probably had a lifetime of bad Charlie Pride jokes, if his name is truly Charlie Proud. So I won't add one more to it. But hello, Charlie. Thanks for being here. Yeah, so I think these tips fall roughly into two large categories. One is events, you doing an event, playing a show or something that's about an in-person appearance or experience. And then the other is basically ways to sell stuff. And we've got a lot of tips for each of these. But so if we're in the first category of like live events, revenue for appearances, the first tip is call around, even though there's only 2.5 weeks till Christmas, call around to try to get official gigs. And this would be like local stores, malls. You can call, City Hall, Chamber of Commerce to see if there are municipal events happening. Because believe it or not, there are cancellations with things. There are last minute plans that come together. So it could be a band dropped out and you'd be perfect for that. And then Kevin, you were saying when we were making this list also that there may be kind of these gaps that are hangovers from COVID where like the local mall just hasn't quite remembered that they used to do events and should start them back up. And so it's like, hey, I'll help you do it. And if they, you might be meeting a need to put on a holiday event. And I think with that, it's like if you know some Christmas tunes to play live, great, but you don't have to do an entire set of holiday music.
Yeah, I think the opportunity here is like, think about like when everything is like running full steam ahead with the holiday season, and we're using the term holidays because you got to think, especially in America, there's Thanksgiving that ties into Christmas and other religious holidays, but then ties right into New Year's. So we're talking about this whole holiday season, at those opportunities. That, yeah, maybe the big New Year's Eve gig at the club in your town has been booked solid for a while, but there's an enormous amount of events related to Christmas and other holidays smash in there, and New Year's, where they're still just scrambling, and maybe they don't have a budget for an artist, but you could play in front of 100 people and it takes 2 hours of your time, and it's going to be an awesome gig that has lots of value as far as, hey, selling some merch, selling some CDs, grabbing some new fans, getting out of the normal mindset of, hey, I got a book with a club, with a professional club booker. These are a lot of people that are oftentimes trying to do stuff that don't know how the real music industry works. They've just been tasked with the job of, hey, we've got the mall, it'd be great if you fill it up with artists during the holiday season. They don't know where to start or where to go for that.
Yeah, and also you can approach these as shows where you're going to be on a stage or have a PA, but there's also busking opportunities, which is just kind of almost flash mob style of showing up in a place and maybe you have a little portable PA or maybe it's totally acoustic, but that gives you, Santa Claus is at the mall and kids are waiting in line with their parents. Like you could play to those people. In my town, we actually have someone who dresses up as the Krampus and takes holiday Christmas photos with your family with Krampus, which is great.
What kind of town do you live in, Chris?
We have a dark sense of humor in this town, but like there are places where lines are forming. It could be like the local sleigh ride, the maple syrup place, whatever, the holiday crafts fair, the art walk. If it's got a significant crowd, and particularly if people are stuck in line for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, like you could be there playing to them. And as you say, like surprise and delight. No one's expecting a good musician to just be entertaining them while they wait.
I will make a comment about that in just a second, but we've had a lot more people join us. If you're watching the Music Career Study Group, we're talking about 10 ideas to drive music revenue this holiday season. We're almost done with number 1. Say hi in the comments. Let us know where you're watching from. And hey, would you give us a like, a thumbs up, or click the share button so other artists know that we're having this conversation right now? We'd really appreciate it. Chris,
hello to South Africa too.
One Christmas tour we did, during the day, we set up and played inside of a Chick-fil-A, and we sold like 4 or 5 CDs.
Yeah, because no one expected a band.
No,
right?
There was like some of the most like emotional reactions to our music we've had in those kind of situations, because someone was like, I was having a really hard day. I was just, hard day at work. It's just so busy, and the holiday season is kind of depressing for some people. And here you guys were playing while I ate my sandwich, and it just blew me away. It turned my life around, kind of thing. And so many of those situations where we've had that kind of interaction. So yeah, it's, of course, the Chick-fil-A person had Christmas programming happening there. It wasn't like we just randomly showed up with the manager had no idea what was going on.
Miles wants to know if did you get fed?
We did. In fact, I think I had like a stack of like free Chick-fil-A cards. And at the time there was no Chick-fil-A where I live. So,
so there they sit unused. I had one more thing to add to the kind of more official gig type things you should be looking for, which is retirement homes, nursing homes, these things. If it's the holidays, people light up when they hear familiar tunes. And so even if you had just like 2 Christmas songs in a set of, the other thing I should mention is a lot of those kind of nursing home gigs don't have to be long. You could play 5 to 8 songs and be done. You do 5 songs and 2 of them are holiday songs, 3 originals, like people will be delighted. And again, call these places because they may have had cancellations, or maybe you just prompting the idea is like, that sounds great. We've got, leftover funds in our entertainment budget that we have to spend by the end of the year. Get in here. So check that out as well.
Yeah, I should add with that whole Chick-fil-A thing, there was this kind of plays into a couple of the other items, but I'll mention it here, is that there was a radio station doing a live broadcast there as well, and they were doing like a food or toy drive. I think it was a toy drive. Might have been Toys for Tots. So think that's kind of some of these official gigs can be organized by people that aren't normally the person you think about. So that's something to consider and to broaden the areas of where you look. So
Hakeem's asking something that's sort of unrelated to the topic, and so I'd say, just scanning real quick glance, it doesn't sound like something that's coming from us, unless
it's not coming from us. It's just saying that you can be messaged. They're getting direct messages through their Reverb Nation page from people claiming to be. That all sounds like a scam to me, Hakeem.
Yeah.
If people message you saying they want to manage you or want your music and you've done nothing to promote it to them, it's usually a giant red flag.
Yeah. So number 2, still staying in the live events category, is DIY event booking. And so I know you probably have a lot more to say on this, but it's like playing your friends' holiday parties or their work parties or, churches, house shows. And then you had an idea for a Christmas party tour. What's that all about?
Yeah, I was just thinking about like having done many Christmas tours. As I mentioned, my band has 2 full-length Christmas albums and then a handful of singles. We're not a Christmas band. We just liked Christmas music, and so we just had it in us to crank some of it out, which has led to doing a lot of touring at Christmas time. And one thing I've noticed is touring at Christmas time is terrible. because everyone is so freaking busy. In fact, this year I feel like I'm on, a whole bunch of email lists for all the big venues in town here, and I feel like there's not many Christmas tours happening this year, and I think it's because people are like, man, everyone's so busy.
Mhm.
Unless you're a mega artist doing one, it's really hard to cut through the noise and get people to do anything,
Yeah.
because they're just so busy with holiday productions at school and all the parties and all the business, traveling to see family. And so I thought, man, I saw someone posting on X about how like going to an event at this time is just agonizing. I'm like, yeah, that's why we had so much trouble getting people out to shows at Christmas
Yeah.
time. And so I thought, well, how about we reverse that and hack this and make it a fun thing that would probably drive sales to people in person, but also be fun to watch online, is do a mini tour, even publicize it like a tour, and stop off at all your friends' Christmas parties or the office party, uh, your friend's office party,
Uh-huh.
the gathering here and there, and turn it into like a mini tour and have fun with it and make it a whole little thing, and give it
Well,
some sort of theme. And if
one
people are,
merch item that we're going to talk about merch later, but you could make a tour poster with all of those events. Aunt Sally's Christmas party, the local bakery's Christmas, but whatever, all the places you're
yeah,
playing, make a poster, and now you have one merch item that you could sell to all these people at these parties, and probably, I bet you'd sell a lot of them.
yeah. And like, I live in a small town that's just right. I can see Portland from my house, but I live in a small town that has this main street and the classic movie theater. I could probably do a tour at all the shops
Mhm.
down the street, like, and the city would probably promote that and think it was a cool idea that,
Yep.
oh, he's doing this day, he's at this retailer, the next day he's here, and so those kind of ideas I think can win big this time of season. If you tried that in the middle of summer, it's probably going to fall flat. But
Mhm.
right now, all the stores are decked out. They've got cool window displays. All that kind of stuff is like, hey, it's a way for you to get creative. Miles makes a good point. It feels like the holiday concert season is now November through the first week of December. I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right.
You think you sort of said this, but one of the points you made was to just make it a fun theme and encourage everyone to show up with, that kind of mindset. So whether it's they're all going to get hot chocolate while they're there, or they should all wear Christmas pajamas, or
Yeah,
show up in your Christmas sweater, or whatever. Make it feel fun and communal in that kind of way.
yeah. Like the town I live in is called Camas, Washington. It could be like the ugly sweater tour down Main Street in Camas, Washington, and yeah, something like that. I'd come up with a better name, but
I was gonna say number 3 on our list. You sort of already mentioned, but it's don't forget that the holiday season is more than Christmas. So New Year's parties, like there's a lot of people ready to listen to music and dance on New Year's. If you're not danceable, there's also this really kind of depressing doldrums feeling once the holidays are over, and you could play your sad folk songs, on January
I'm
2nd.
sad. Join my sad for the New Year party.
Yeah. Or like, some people, I might be one of them, kind of hates New Year's. So you could do a I hate New Year's concert, and just for the people who don't want that vibe, they get something else. But yeah, just remember there are a lot of event opportunities outside of Christmas was the third point.
Yeah, and that vibe will shift after Christmas, but I think that there's again, lots of people do New Year's parties, and it's become a thing now where people do parties uh, on the 30th, on
Mhm.
because they don't want to be hungover on the first. It's like the week between Christmas and New Year's for a lot of people is kind of a down week. They're just off from work. They're just screwing around. So they have parties, and
Mhm.
think about how you can insert your music. And the part of the reason why with these, if it hasn't been obvious, but I will make it more obvious. A lot of these intimate, smaller, I showed up, the surprise and delight idea, people go nuts and they pull out their wallet like crazy. If you've talked to people that have done successful house show tours, the thing they will rave about it, be like, yeah, there was 30 people there, but I made $500 in merch
Yeah,
because
every
those
single one of
people
them
buy
bought something.
stuff. Yes.
Yeah.
Because they're there. They're like, oh my gosh, I didn't expect to have this experience tonight. Yes, I want a CD. I want a t-shirt. I want something to remember this by,
Yeah. Well, speaking of people taking out their wallets, you had an idea that I thought was interesting. It's the fourth one, which is to partner with a local organization for the purposes of giving away some of what you raise to that cause or that business. And I like this one because I think it's not just about, how do I say this? By giving away some portion of your proceeds or your revenue, you actually might earn more revenue because you'll be getting that synergy that happens when two or more businesses are aligning. You're now drawing upon the audience of that business or that cause. So yeah, just sort of that charitable gesture at the end of the year may actually net you more money in the end.
Yeah, yeah. And I think this is one that you have to, just dive into and go, oh, there's a cause. I'll throw money, say it's going for them, and it'll work out. What you need to do is like look at, hey, where things that I'm already passionate about, where there's some obvious connections in my own story, where are some maybe organizations already support, and reach out to them and say, hey, I'm an artist. I'm a big fan of what you do. I've been supporting you. Would you be down to endorse this idea of, I'm going to put all my merch on sale and do a big thing where I give away a bunch of the proceeds to your cause? And yeah, it's a good way to get people again thinking about spending money, because those things, it's like, oh, I can support an artist and a cause that I like.
Yeah. I like that idea a lot. Now, number 5, we're going to move into the merch category, and there's a lot to say on this topic. But the first is, if you don't have Christmas music, you just have your music. Remember that it makes a great gift. People are, again, particularly now in this shorter holiday season with only 2.5 weeks left, it's like, oh, we just had Thanksgiving. I'm not thinking about gifts yet. Oh no, Christmas is what the hell do I buy people? Well, your music will make a great gift for people that love your style of music. So present it to your audience as a great gift. And that means, of course, messaging your fans in all the ways that you can to say it makes a great gift, to state the obvious. But like, do what you need to do to get it fulfilled quickly, whether that's rush shipping or free shipping. I also thought you could make it much more enticing by just gift wrapping it for people. So if you could send it in a box or a small envelope that won't crush the wrapping, you're saving people time on that. I hate wrapping things. So make that, sometimes people do like, oh, I'll autograph the CD. Well, at the holidays, autograph it and wrap it for someone. That's the bonus. Yeah.
The one thing, Chris, I would say, like, the big, it wouldn't be disclaimer, but the big warning with all this merch stuff in the holiday season, you need to, one, be prepared to deliver those products in a timely manner. And two, manage expectations of them when you will send and how quickly it'll get there. Because in a world of Amazon Prime, people can get grumpy when it takes 5 days to receive something, or it doesn't arrive in time to be a gift.
Right.
Right after this live stream, I am going to the post office, braving the post office to send off some CDs that people just ordered. So it's one of those things you got to be ready to pull the trigger on. You can't be like, oh yeah, I've got 10 orders. I should probably get around to sending those. They're going to be pissed.
I've definitely been guilty of that in the past, but not during the holidays. I have let them pile up. Number 6 is think of all the different kinds of incentives you can present to people to make it more enticing to buy your merch. An obvious one is just a discount. You give them a discount code. It could be for the total value of whatever's in their cart. It could be for a particular product or album or t-shirt or whatever. It could also be like, hey, if you spend more than $100, then you get 20% off. There's a lot of different ways to do it. Deadlines, making an expiration date and putting that urgency in to make it feel like people have to act now. Free shipping. We like free shipping, especially during the holidays. Throwing in bonus items. So, if you've got some buttons or pins, I mentioned autographing. Gift wrapping is kind of a bonus item. You could also write a personalized thank you or send a Christmas card, a postcard. Stuff like that. Take a Polaroid picture of you and your family in stupid Santa hats, whatever it is, throw something extra in there. And then the last thing is offer a limited edition merch item. Maybe it's holiday related, or maybe it's just something that's going to not exist, come the end of the month. And that adds a whole different kinds of urgency, because they know if they want this thing at all, they have to buy it now.
Yeah. Chris and I have worked in marketing a long time, and not that I completely understand human behavior, but I know certain things to be true. That when you offer things like free shipping, people lose their mind and buy.
I didn't even want that thing, but they're going to ship it for free.
Ship it for free? Hell yeah. Give me 5 of them. Yeah. And discounts, we have been trained. There's so many things that we have been trained to do. And so like offering offering a Black Friday offer. I know the time has passed, but what was crazy to me is I remember a handful of years ago, we were working on a marketing campaign, and someone on my team, different company, someone on my team was like, "Why do we keep talking about Black Friday? That's such an American thing." Because if you didn't know, you may not at this point, because it's so confusing. It was the Friday after Thanksgiving where everybody went to the mall and went shopping before online and started buying like crazy for Christmas. And all the stores would convert over to Christmas sales the day after Thanksgiving. And so it became known as Black Friday, because there's a huge
get out of the red and into the black.
Yes. Yeah. And for a lot of businesses, that's how they got into the black for the rest of the year. So that became a thing based on Thanksgiving, but the whole world has adopted it. I was in Italy 2 weeks ago, and Black Friday stuff was everywhere. And what's more confusing is I was getting Instagram ads for Black Friday offers that ended 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. I'm not kidding. Yeah, I was like, our Black Friday offer ends today. I'm like, what? Black Friday's 2 weeks from now. And I saw that with multiple brands. Like, it's all over the place. So it's just become a term that people think this is a huge deal to close out the year. So understanding that those triggers cause people to open their wallets, and you can adopt some of those tactics with your music. Put a discount, call it a Black Friday offer. It's too late for this year to call it Black Friday, but you could still call it some sort of holiday deal.
Yeah. Oh, the next thing on the list is just to make sure that you're positioning the best merch item for this season, for this moment, for this sale in front of people. So prioritizing the right thing. And one option might be to bundle things together. Maybe you've got 2 or 3 albums you can bundle together in one discounted package. If you've got clothing and accessories and stuff, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, it's probably more of a colder season, right now. So the hoodie and the beanie cap might be better than the baseball cap and the t-shirt. So, think through those sorts of things. And then you had advice about almost forgetting about physical and kind of doing something digital with digital merch. Right?
Yeah, I think one thing that where we stunt our creativity and therefore our revenue is we think about retail and selling stuff to people, how the platforms have decided to organize music, or how they've decided to sell music. And that does not necessarily hold true to your fans. For example, from my band's website, you can buy our entire catalog in one zip drive download for $50. You do not see that kind of bundling anywhere on any sort of mainstream platform, but we've sold a lot of them. That was free money. It took me, I already had all the files because I've got all our music organized. I just put them, each album, into a folder, one giant folder, zipped it, uploaded it to a hard drive, uploaded it to the server. I use Bandzoogle for my website. They have great selling tools. I just created an item, bam, instantly a $50 item that cost me nothing to make, and we've made nothing but pure profit off of. And so thinking outside the box like that, and even some other digital goods, like you can throw in some video content. I mean, you got to be selective, because to me, some of this, like people like, big deal, I can get video all over the web. Your videos are everywhere. But just thinking about like if you have some special skills or abilities, like you're an artist, like a visual artist as well as a musician, you could thanks, Miles.
I'm just
You
feeling that your band Small Town Poets would implode without Kevin.
maybe so.
Someone's keeping the lights on.
But the idea that you, if you're like a visual artist as well, you could create some sort of unique visual piece, like a poster, a digital poster that goes in that package that you only get inside that package. There's things like that that you can think about. There was another one, let me see, on our list here that I was thinking about. I mean, you mentioned earlier, like release a holiday song. It doesn't have to go on Spotify. It's kind of late for that. Sell it from your website, those kind of things, or use as an incentive, like, hey, we've got this new crazy holiday song that you won't believe what grandma does in this holiday escapade. But you can only hear the song if you buy the new t-shirt. You'll get a free download instantly.
That's
Use it
great.
as
Yeah.
those kind of things. But um let's see, you had a couple other things listed here.
Well, one thing I wanted to mention is number 8 on our list is give your campaign a name, theme, and purpose. And you talked about this with Black Friday. You're playing on that sort of people are primed to purchase already, but it could be anything. It's like, hey, we're coming up on the end of the year. I really need to get rid of this box of CDs because I'm about to make a new album. So it's like a clearance sale or last minute gift ideas. Basically, what you want to do is make it feel like an event where the why you're doing it and who it's for is very clear. Sometimes in these events, if you're trying to drive a lot of revenue, it probably should be aimed at kind of your whole audience. But there's also sometimes a time and a place to be like, hey, for my super fans, here's this like secret discount code. Don't tell anyone. Here it is. And maybe you run both at the same time. Maybe your super fans get 25% off and your regular fans get 10. I don't know how you want to manage it. But basically what I'm saying is make it fun, make it feel like it's a theme and this exciting thing people can participate in, even though what you're doing is just offering them something to buy.
Yeah. I mean, that goes right along with the surprise and delight idea. Make it interesting and fun. When things are interesting and fun, people pay attention and they're more willing to spend money on what you're doing. If you just said, got a t-shirt, it's a good gift.
Right.
It's like, my inbox is full of that crap. I could see that all day long. What make me enjoy the experience. I remembered what I was going to say, Chris, on the bundling topic. One of the things that we also did is we bundled 2 holiday CDs together at they're normally like $15 each, but if it's 25 for 2 CDs together, and you get the downloads of each album instantly. And so that has caused people to buy more, because we have 2 Christmas albums, so those are bundled together. We've had more people just go ahead and buy both of them, because it's like, oh, okay, I save $5 and I get both of them and I get the downloads immediately. I'll buy that.
Yeah. Well, last thing to say on the topic of campaign duration and themes and all that is like Black Friday's over. And that may mean you now have a small window to be one of the only cool, exciting sales campaigns that's happening, until maybe those first few days before Christmas where it ramps up again. But if there's a bit of a lull in people's attention, you could strike now. This next one is perhaps unusual, but it's something I heard on the Creative Juice podcast I was listening to the other day, and they made this point about merch. Might be time for you to raise prices. And the reason is musicians are pretty terrible about just setting a price for something and then just leaving it there for 25 years. It's like, we still think, oh, $100 for a gig, $10 for a CD. Like, no, like just because that's how you did it 10 or 15 years ago, you're allowed to raise prices because inflation has been hitting for many years. The price of everything has gone up. So not only does that give you a chance to reassess what is the fair value of your merch items, but it actually may be more expensive for you now to go and make more of that item. So if you had a run of t-shirts that you're coming to the end of, you want to get more t-shirts, it might be more expensive than it was last time. So charge more, raise prices, and if nothing else, that gives you the chance to then offer discounts that bring them back to maybe something close to what you've been selling them for, but now in everyone's imagination, it's a huge deal. So might be time to raise your prices.
Yeah, I think you are correct in that artists are terrible at this. and they make some horrible assumptions that are not good business assumptions. The main assumption is no one wants to pay for music anymore. And that's not true. No one wants to pay for something that they don't feel like they're getting value back from. And the value in your exchange with them is more than just, hey, I've got a device now that contains the tracks, if it's a CD, or I've got a t-shirt, so I'm not walking around not wearing a shirt. There's value that you are getting, and you need to understand that. And again, like if you make it fun and interesting, that's part of the value of the buying process. There's so many businesses that sell items that could be half the price, but they sell it for double because they make it fun and interesting to buy from them.
Mhm.
And it makes people want to purchase. So don't assume that no one wants to pay a certain amount. I see artists, still blows my mind. I see artists selling, certain artists selling $30 CDs by the truckload.
Mhm.
I don't think my band could pull that off. But the point being that don't assume that a CD should be $5. That's like I keep running into that even in my own band. Like when I say when we're playing a show, CDs are $15. Oh man, shouldn't they be 10 or 7? I'm like, no. It
Nope.
is what we say it is, because they're not buying it because they need these access to these files. They're buying it because they just had an experience that they're excited about, and they
Yeah.
went to the merch table and bought something.
Well, and you said there's sort of this prestige valuation thing of, luxury brands.
Yeah.
The appeal for someone who can afford it, the appeal is that it's that expensive. So there can be some similar mentality that you bring to your music and say, "Hey, I respect myself. I'm a serious artist. This is good stuff. This CD is worth 15." But I mean, 15's cheap.
Yeah,
But
we're a
yeah,
luxury brand of artists. We're not one of those AI garbage bands. We
a
are
luxury band.
luxury. We're a luxury item. So maybe we're just not for you. That's
Mhm.
that's okay.
Miles is saying, I asked for an increase at a reoccurring gig and they didn't even bat an eye. They were like, I thought it was crazy you were only asking X anyways. Isn't it great that you have to advocate for yourself and they weren't just like, hey, we'll pay you more?
You
Good
know,
lesson there.
one of the most depressing things related to music I saw, this was a few months back. I was watching, there's a documentary about Bon Jovi on Hulu, and it's really about his struggles with his voice. I'd seen clips about how awful his voice was sounding at certain songs, and he was struggling. And I didn't realize that his journey. It wasn't just like, hey, we hope you don't notice he can't sing anymore. He's actually got some sort of issue with his larynx, I believe is what it was, and that he's been getting medical treatment for, that's to help the issue. Anyway, it was a fascinating documentary. The one thing he said was that really like, oh man, this is depressing, was he's like talking about their start in the 80s, the early 80s, and they'd play the local club and get paid $100. And I'm like, dang, it's in the 2020s and bands are still getting
Still
paid
$100.
$100. And they're
Yep.
like, that's a good payday. You should be happy you're just getting paid. I'm like, dang, testing for inflation, the average should be like at least $500.
500, right. Then you got to split it between your bandmates.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the last thing on I say the last, it's a very long subject, but it's all the ways in which you can message about your sale. Once you determine what you're going to sell, what you're going to prioritize, what the discount is, what the name of the campaign is, then you have the job of actually getting this message in front of your audience over and over and over again, so they care, so they notice, so they'll actually take you up on it and pay you. So that's sort of a long list, but obviously there's all your social kind of services, your in-feed posts, stories with links to your store, short form video. You can use things like YouTube cards to add calls to action and links. If you have other short form holiday related content that's not specific to the sale, but you share it and people enjoy it, well, you can follow up in the comments or even advertise to people who engage with that first bit of content with your offer. One thing I usually do is a holiday themed live stream. So even though I don't have any new Christmas music, I know Christmas tunes. I can play them for an hour, and in between every song or every couple songs, mention my merch discount, my sale that's going on. What else? Oh, email. Do not, under any circumstance, ignore your email list, because
Absolutely.
you should be writing them at least 3 times. One is like, hey, the sale is happening. You should know. then one that like, hey, it's not going to last forever, and then third one is like last chance, ends today, and if you can do 4 or 5, that's great.
Yeah. Yeah. I cannot emphasize enough how email is where people buy. And you might say it's almost 2025, Kevin, all the actions on social. Maybe the action to be entertained, but the action of like, I'm going to click this button and pull out my wallet and pay for something. Email is still supreme by a mile.
Mhm.
By a mile. When people are on social media, they're not there to go shopping. Yes, people buy stuff off social. I've bought many things off of Instagram ads. But that being said, your one post on social is not going to do something. Those companies that I bought from are probably spending a fortune on ads on Instagram to just hammer me once I even look at their picture. It's like I want to scroll with my eyes closed so that the algorithm doesn't think that I'm interested in something.
Well,
But yeah, so email is where people buy.
well, I think like if to anyone who's a skeptic on that, you said, "Oh, no, it's 2025, almost no one's." Why is your email inbox, you being anyone watching, full of offers by some of the biggest brands in the world? Do you think Nike or Universal Audio, not that they're a music brand close to my heart, I buy their stuff. Why would they email me if it didn't work for them to sell stuff through email? So they're all leaning hard into that. So should we.
Yeah, yeah. I think what we've come to notice or learn over as new platforms and ways of communication pop up, people are in different mindsets and go to different platforms to do different things. People do business in email. They their email address is something that they keep for a very long time. It's attached to all their important accounts and things that have bills and money attached to. So when they're in the inbox, it's down to business for a lot of stuff, not everything.
Before we move back to the list, can I pause and share an anecdote from my life in email today? Do you know what I'm going to say? The price that I was quoted to upgrade.
I have no idea what you're gonna say.
All right.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Yes. Okay.
And I'm going to
Yeah.
ask you, is it kosher to show the
Oh,
screenshot?
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I do a music live stream every Thursday, and every Thursday morning I send an email to my list saying, "Hey, going live. Here's the theme. Hope you will attend." And it usually works to get some people there. Today I tried to hit send, and I was told by this MailChimp, the email provider I've used for so long, and I'm now going to not use them anymore, that I couldn't email anyone on my list, and I had to upgrade because I have too many subscribers now. Now let me show you what they quoted me.
This is insanity.
You will see. Free? Nope. You've outgrown that plan. Essentials? Nope. You've outgrown that plan. Standard. That's not $630
A
a month.
month.
Premium $900 a month. I don't have trillions of email subscribers, and I send 4 emails a month. So all that to say, do you know with Reverb Nation, if you remember, you have a free email tool called FanReach. It's time for me to use it because
Yeah.
oh my gosh,
Chris, I can hook you up with a premium account.
A month.
I can hook you up with a premium account.
Yeah, I saw this and I'm like, I must be misunderstanding something. I even went to the Find My Plan button to like customize it. I'm like, oh, I can put in my exact, and they'll quote me something more reasonable. Nope, that was what they were quoting me. So,
yeah, crazy. It's one of those situations where you understand that I am not their client anymore. Whatever
nope.
I'm doing is not who they want to be doing business with, and
No.
so they said, "Bye, Chris."
Yep. So FanReach through Reverb Nation.
Yeah, and if you use the coupon code BF2024, you can get 50% off premium membership, which gives you half off. But half off premium comes with unlimited distribution. Can I get the words out? Unlimited distribution and unlimited access to all the marketing tools like FanReach, where at the basic plan, your list size is limited, where on the premium plan, it is not.
So time for me to move. Back on the topic of ways to get our holiday merch offers out there. In addition to email listed on your website, use the pop-ups if you have website pop-ups. Thank you messaging to your fans can be a great way to more sort of make a soft sale. And you mentioned giving people a holiday track as a way of saying thanks for them listening throughout the year. And you can say, hey, here's something for you. By the way, I have this sale going on. Sort of a year-end recap, like, hey, 2024 was a great year or a terrible year, and here's why, and some highlights or lowlights. Thanks for being with me. And by the way, there's a sale. And it could also be Patreon. It could be Kickstarter. It doesn't have to necessarily be a merch offer. Could be something like, hey, I had a great year. Here's some highlights. Did you know that you can book me for a house show? So any way that you can kind of use that end of year goodwill to drum up some more support for your music. One last thing on my list I was going to mention is fans don't know what we know as musicians. We take for granted that everyone in the world knows what it's like to be a musician and knows what the costs are and all these things. Your average fan doesn't. So sometimes like an educational, instructive message about the reality of being a musician, what it takes monetarily and all this stuff can go a long way towards making someone be like, oh, cool. Now they've told me exactly how to support them in a more meaningful way than streaming on Spotify, which is great, but I can also do these other things to make a more of an impact revenue wise. So don't be afraid to literally tell your fans exactly what you need.
Yeah, saying thank you is a good, like you're saying, the end of year recap with a thank you message, I think is good. It I know this live stream is about driving revenue during the holiday season, but making that genuine connection and like that year-end recap, while it may not be appropriate, depending on what it is, it might be appropriate to ask for a sale in that context. It builds that connection where people want to support you.
Yeah.
So driving revenue isn't just all about being the person that's always asking for money. It's about creating value, doing things, the surprise and delight, the making it fun and interesting, that makes you stand out, and making that genuine connection where people ultimately want to support you and look forward to new products and new music that you release.
Yeah. Well, that was the end of our 10 thing. I had a few just bonus items I could mention. They're not really going to make a huge dent in your revenue, so that they're really just for fun bonus. But there are a lot of people who are sick of holiday music, and there are a lot of people who don't even like holiday music. They hear it.
I've hardly listened to any this year, which is surprising.
Oh, that is surprising.
Well, it was just busy. I had like 3 conferences back to back, and then it was Thanksgiving, and then it's like almost Christmas. I'm like, can I get like some time to like relax for a minute before Christmas?
Not this year. But what I was gonna say is, like, for those people who hate holiday music or are sick of it, you can make a hey, sick of holiday music playlist. Put your music in there, put some of your favorite music in there, and just present it as an alternative for people who don't want to engage with the holidays. And again, it's not going to drive much revenue. It'll be streaming revenue. Something similar you could do is a year-end favorites playlist. So like the best albums I heard in 2024, and obviously put 1 or 2 of your songs in there. So it probably increase streaming engagement, if not a bunch of revenue. And then if you're savvy, you could do some sort of affiliate revenue thing with either recommending other artists' music or gear that you really like, doing tutorials, gear reviews. There's other ways of kind of driving revenue outside of something specific to your own merch sales.
Yeah. Let's see. I was going to say something, Chris. I would never say that it's at our former place of employment because it would probably cut me let go. But I think releasing music this time of year that's not holiday music, it's probably become the worst time of year to release music because of all of the mayhem. The streaming world really changed that. It used to be that the holiday, like it, the holiday season used to be an amazing time to have a new album drop because people would buy it, wrap it, put it in the stocking under the tree, or they'd get Christmas money and gift cards and go buy it after Christmas. Small Town Poets, our second album, came out the day after Christmas, which was a coveted release day, because everybody had Christmas money and gift cards and went shop. It was another huge shopping day. That's not the case anymore. I think streaming and the oversaturation of Christmas music on radio stations has really changed, like blocked people. They can't even get through all of that to even understand what is releasing in the normal season. So I think if you're thinking about releasing some new music, January is now a prime release month because people are done with the Christmas stuff and they want something fresh and new. They want to move on. And so I just think beyond the holiday season, you need to start thinking about January, dropping something new. People want something fresh. They've been in this Christmas, holiday, New Year world that they've been trying to escape. And now you have something new for them. So we could talk more about that later, but that's just something, in my opinion, something I've thought about that, that if you're not releasing holiday themed music, it's a challenging time to get above the it also depends on what kind of genre, your demographic and all that kind of stuff, because it might not apply to the type of music you do. But it's something that I've been thinking a lot about lately, that how music consumption has changed, and the Christmas madness, it's gotten gigantic. Like Christmas, every radio station, every pop station just plays Christmas music now 24/7. And all over Spotify, it's Christmas playlist, holiday playlist, all that kind of stuff.
And I know that the shift from that world you were talking about, where people went in with their Sam Goody or Tower Records gift cards and bought CDs and stuff, to now it's been probably 30 years of transition and lots of format shifts. But in the grand scheme of things, that's not a ton of time for such a wildly different shopping behavior. So it's fascinating.
Yeah.
Aaron, you forgot this was happening, and now you're here in the last minutes.
Yeah. Aaron missed our part where we were talking about Spotify Wrapped. He dropped I saw him post about it. He had a good year.
I did see that, but what was the highlight? Aaron, what was the best thing that happened for your music this year? Tell us.
He had like, if I recall, it was like 11 million streams, something like that.
Nice.
Not bad.
Yeah. Well, while they're talking,
while those two make up, we'll
we could remind you about the Black Friday sale that did not technically, in marketing speak, expired yesterday, but actually it can still be used today.
Yes.
So if you want half off Reverb Nation Premium membership with unlimited distribution, unlimited promotion, and all the promo tools and musician tools that you get with Reverb Nation, use the code BF2024 at checkout. You'll get half off the premium membership fee.
All right. And we will be back, I believe next week will be our last music career study group of the 2024 season. So you should make it a priority to join us. It'll be fun. Maybe even festive. We'll try to surprise and delight. Maybe Chris will dress up as Santa.
I'll have a different hat. I'll have a Santa hat on. Maybe. Okay. We'll see.
Maybe. There you go.
Miles, you should follow Aaron. He has almost 1 million followers. If you want to have all the feels about Nintendo 64 days, he is your guy. And he has a dark rendition of Dread to the World. Nice.
That's funny.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's going to do it. It's noon. We made it. The end of another music career study group. We'll catch you next week, and be watching the Reverb Nation blog and the email for the topic, because we'll come up with a good one, and got to have a good one to close out the year.
Yeah. We'll see you all in a week.
All right. See ya.